Hi Topher, looking at your assignment for portraits. So, looking at your first shot here. Okay, shot with a Panasonic Lumix or Panasonic. So this must be one of those kind of long lens hybrid cameras, because this looks like a pretty long telephoto shot of this bird. As I'm looking at it, it's got a little bit of camera shake on it, or maybe your subject shake. And by all means, if you have the ability to change your ISO on this particular camera, if it's not totally automatic, do this, make this change. And so instead of 80, make this 800, so that your exposure right here, which is set at a 30th of a second on here, would be a much higher shutter speed, so that you can freeze any kind of action, especially like something like this from this bird. This next one, very cute shot. Pentax Optio WG2. I'm very familiar with this camera. Now in this case, 1600, ISO 1600, and you're inside. Nice flat lighting, a 40th of a second. That's good, since the dog's not moving around. Perfect for being able to capture something like that. That looks good. Same thing with this one too. Got your ISO up here at 800. That's great. And you can see the exposure here, 125th of a second. Yeah, it would stop any kind of action, from the dog while he might be sitting there. And that's great. So perfect example right there for shooting at a little higher ISO and stopping action. Good. Okay, and then this one, kind of the same thing. It's the same thing as that you had with the that first bird shot. Your ISO is down so low, and your shutter speed here at a 30th of a second that's pretty slow. Really won't stop birds and things moving around. So you want to bump that ISO up. Okay, this is looks like HTC, maybe from a camera phone. Okay, so I prefer not to shoot with the camera phones unless you absolutely have to, only because you have very, very minimal adjustments. And if you really want to make use of the digital cameras, going in there and being able to set your white balance, your ISO, and those things, very helpful. But I certainly love shooting with camera phones. But if you've got something that you can shoot, like your other cameras here, where you can adjust your ISO, your aperture, and your shutter speed, I hope that you do that. In this one here, you got a Canon Power Shot. Same kind of thing here too. If you're looking through the viewfinder when you're taking a picture of this, and you see that your camera is going to shoot at a 20th of a second. 20th of a second is pretty slow. And so here's a perfect case where bumping up that ISO to something faster than 200 is going to give you a faster shutter speed too. So make sure that you go in and pay attention to basically those three things: ISO, and shutter speed, and aperture. So in this case right here, just bump up that aperture. Like when you were shooting the shots of the dogs, the dogs are a much higher ISO, and so you're getting a shutter speed that's definitely going to be able to freeze any kind of motion. Where in something like this, if this leopard were going to move around, you'd see kind of a blur. So keep up the good work, and thanks very much.